All-Ireland Business Summit. I'm your host, Jules Call, and we are here in Croke Park, and the buzz here is absolutely unbelievable. We're broadcasting to you live on Facebook now. I'm with GTM Events, and this is what we do, we stream live. And we're very lucky because we've got a very special guest joining us here today. Bobby Kerr, welcome to the sofa.
Hello, Jules. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for joining us. You got your cup of coffee there.
Have my coffee.
Because you are Mr. Insomnia.
It's not insomnia, but we'll manage. It's all good.
We won't tell anybody. So I'm going to cut straight to the chase. And I'm going to ask you the question that everybody at home is thinking to themselves. Business. How can we all become millionaires?
How come you can all become?
How can we all become millionaires?
Well,
what's the secret?
I tell you, it doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure. And you can go broke along the way as well trying. But Insomnia is going 19 years this year. We started with one shop. There's now, there's 147 shops and like about 400 outlets in Spar and that. But that took 19 years to grow.
Wow, okay, so let's go back a little bit of history. How did it all start that 19 years ago? Where did the idea come from?
Well, the idea was just a group of people. It actually was three different businesses that came together, believe it or not. I owned one of them. Mm-hmm. My other partner, Harry O'Kelly, owned a different one called Bendini and Shaw. And then there was Insomnia. We put the three businesses together, had 17 shops, rebranded them all Insomnia, and off we went. And we've just been opening shops ever since.
So how many cups of coffee would you sell per year?
Nearly 20 million.
20 million cups?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, a lot of coffee. We sell over 300 tons of coffee through a retail, which is a huge amount of coffee.
What's it like keeping up with all the different trends that are in coffees? Because remember, like a couple of years ago, nobody had ever heard of a flat white, and now everybody wants a flat white.
Yeah, like there hasn't been, like the trends were more, like there was much more change in the early days when I got involved than there has been recently. The flat white is something that's been around. It originated in New Zealand maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So, but like, people are still being educated around coffee, and it's actually, believe it or not, still a growing market. And people thought we'd all be gone. You know, everybody was saying that, you know, when the recession came, it'd be the first thing to go. It wasn't. People stayed drinking coffee, even though they may have drank less of it, but they kept up the practice. It's part of what we do now. I worked in Bewley's, which would have been the old Irish coffee house of old, around since 1840. In my days there was two types, black or white, and you never saw anyone walking down the street with a coffee. That was in the mid-90s now. So they were whole new markets, both the espresso-based market and the takeout, the coffee on the move market.
It's amazing how all these different things just keep growing and evolving. So with the All-Ireland Business Summit, what does it mean for you to be here today?
Well, I'm honoured to be the chair of it, and again, my job primarily is to act as MC, to introduce the different businesses. I know a lot of the people here. I'm here to meet people as well. It means to me, people who get outside their day-to-day, you know, their mundaneness of, and I wouldn't say business is never mundane, but sometimes you need to come out of your business for a day to just get your head right. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening here today. I got the buzz here when I arrived at 7:30 this morning. People are, you know, they're ready, they're selling, they're trying to meet contacts.
There's something about face-to-face, isn't it?
But, you know, it's an environment where you expect to sell and you expect to be sold to. So I think there'll be lots of stuff that will happen. Maybe not today, but as a result of today. People will meet again, they'll do stuff again. I think it's a great idea. I think we need to do more of that. I think that's the way business is kind of done now.
Mm-hmm. So when people are networking and they have a new company or a new brand or a new product or whatever it is, what would be your top tips, your top 3 tips that you would give to somebody if they want to sell themselves the best way they possibly can?
The first thing is that your message needs to be real concise and real simple. So what do I do? How do I do it? What's it about? In one sentence. You need some sort of line that describes what you do. There's nothing worse than something that's complicated, something that can't be explained, and people need to, simplicity can be a very complex thing, believe it or not. So people need to work on their elevator pitch, they need to work on a concise delivery. The worst thing you can be is too long or too complicated. people the second thing is that people need to be not intimidated about going up and introducing themselves to people. It's that kind of environment. People expect you to do it, so don't be a wallflower. Get out there and mingle. Talk to people you don't know rather than people you know. And I know a good few people here in the room, but I'm making it my business to try and talk to people that I don't know. And you know, I think the third thing I'd say is after today, it's more important is follow up. Send somebody that you met something nice to meet you. You don't just but acknowledge the fact that you met somebody and you were grateful to meet them. Those three things, you won't go wrong.
They are absolutely brilliant tips. Okay, following everything up, I especially like that as well, because then you're putting all the contact details that are out there and getting onto the hashtags that are going on Twitter, so that you're creating awareness for your brand. Definitely.
Somebody told me an interesting tip. If you write the like Croke Park, whatever the date in April, is it the 5th or the 6th of April, Croke Park, on the back of your business card, that the person will remember when they go to look at it again where it is they actually met you. You know, so like simple things, but
So do you think that's the secret if somebody was to pitch an idea? Is there a simpleness in actually networking face to face with somebody and chatting to them, or what happens when it comes to big, bold, grand gestures? Which would get your attention?
Well, people make the mistake of trying to do the whole pitch and everything in the corridor here.
Okay.
And that's so what
the tease is better, is it?
What's all you want to do is get the guy for another day. Is really what I'd be saying to today. If somebody has time or is interested and wants to, by all means, but by and large, it's about being remembered and getting your message across.
And what about somebody who just doesn't feel that they would have the confidence to do that? Like you were saying, you know, the fear factor might be there, that they're there and, oh, there he is, and I'm going to walk away from today and I'm going to regret that I didn't just go over there and put out my hand and shake his hand and introduce yourself. Is it feel the fear and just do it anyway?
Well, I do think that I think practically everybody who's here has probably got over that fear on the basis that they're here. Mm-hmm. And I think then the environment as it is, it's expected that you say hello to somebody or you introduce yourself or you tell people. So it's a very kind of safe environment if you're nervous. No one's going to, think you're an idiot or no one's going to be rude to you or anything like that. So I think it's probably a good place if you are nervous to come to an environment where it's almost expected.
Okay. And then what would be your business advice? So the people who are here are already established. I know there'll be a lot of people who are watching at home and who would like to be here and like to be involved in this, but they might be at the dawn of the starting of their business. Let's take example somebody who's got a brilliant concept and idea. They might be very right brain, very creative, but when it comes to the left brain of logic, of structuring their business, going, how am I going to get the money to start this, just confidence within themselves, what would be your top tips for that person to just say, I have an idea, but I don't even know where to start?
Yeah, well, the first thing you need to do, and however you do it, is you need to get some validation of your idea.
Okay.
Because unless you check it with the market, with potential customers, with somebody or some place, it'll always just be an idea, and it'll be something that never goes anywhere. So, you can do as much ground research as you can. You can do desk research. You can do competitive analysis. You can count cars passing a building. You can get down to that level of analysis. But there's a time when you have to say, I'm doing this. And
what do you think about people forming an alliance? Do you think the two heads are better than one?
Well, I've always worked with partners, and I like being part of a team. I like a burden shared. I like the fact that there's two other partners in Insomnia with me. We've been together for a long number of years. We're all different, but we work as a partnership. We absolutely work, and I would encourage people to select their partners very, very carefully, but to have partners. That's the way I like to work. It's not everybody's preference, but it's certainly the way I like to do it.
And make sure those contracts are watertight.
Well,
cross the T's and dot the I's.
I think the negotiation at the start should always be fairly hard and fairly intense, but then it should be put aside. You shouldn't really have to look at an agreement after the agreement is done. If the partnership is working, you shouldn't really have to go back to it. If it's not, you're going to be, but and that's when it's important to have. It's always important to have a good agreement, but the inferred agreement is always there if it's negotiated right.
what's your advice on people believing in themselves and dealing with rejection? There's an awful lot of, I'm going to look for a loan, whatever, I got rejected. I feel really strongly, intuitively about my idea and about my business, but everywhere I turn I'm getting knockbacks, yet I still want to go forward. Do you say keep on going, or what's your advice?
I do, and ordinarily I'd say that. There's also, though, a point where you maybe have to question the idea, not maybe yourself, but the idea. If everybody's rejecting it, why are they rejecting it? So why is it only a good idea for me and no one else thinks it's a good idea? Mm-hmm. That's a validation of sorts, and you shouldn't ignore that. Mm-hmm. You can choose to ignore it, but you probably shouldn't.
Okay.
But I'd say that on the basis that, take advice, do your research, but do it anyway. You've got to have the courage, your own convictions to go and do it. Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's an awful lot of people here today. The buzz is absolutely incredible. The branding everywhere, all of these signs up all over the place. It's fantastic, and it's a great opportunity for exposure, for people to get noticed, like you were saying, networking, talking, and getting yourself out there. For anybody who's watching at home who has a business, what do you think they are missing out on today?
Well, I think what they're missing out on is and again, it's opportunity. Like, if you're not there, you potentially miss the opportunity. You may be here and nothing happens for you, but if you're not here, certainly nothing will happen for you. So if you're here, and I think if you've got a bit of an idea in your head about, before you arrive, what is it you want to achieve from today? Do I want to meet a few people? Is there some guy on a list that I see that I want to meet? So I think you do need a bit of a loose plan, that you're not just here, and then what speakers do I want to listen to? The ones I'm interested in, what do I want to get out of them? So it's not as if you have to write a business plan, but you just need a bit of order around what you want to get out, and I think you'll get more out of the day by just being a bit structured about it.
Yeah. So 2018, definitely get your tickets, because it's all good. I can see something like this just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
No, it's a great event.
It's an amazing event.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for all your
Not
top
at all,
tips.
Jill. It's lovely to talk to you.
And I tell you what, this evening I think I'll be sitting down now, maybe not with a cup of coffee that late, but what time am I going to be tuning into the telly, and what am I going to be watching television?
Guys, you got to watch The Restaurant tonight. It's on at 3. It's on at 9 o'clock on TV3. There's the guest chef this evening. I think he thinks he's better than he actually is. He has a bit of fun, he has a bit of banter, and I think he upsets the critics, so have a look.
Oh, that sounds very intriguing and exciting. We'll be tuning into that TV3 tonight, The Restaurant. Thank you so much for chatting to us.
No problem, Jules. Nice to talk to you.
Over and out. We'll talk to you with another guest very soon.
Now.